Hello everybody, my name is Happy and I'd like to welcome you all to my History Reaction channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at 40 to 1 by Sabaton. This will be the official music video. I'm going to try it with the closed captions. I watched the first 30 seconds or so. It looks like the closed captions on this one are pretty good. I have problems understanding what they're singing because of lifelong hearing loss and the fact that they do have a bit of an accent and a lot of going on in their songs, both musically and instrumentally, vocally and instrumentally. So I have a lot of trouble understanding them. Sometimes the closed captions work, sometimes they are clearly auto-generated and they have as much trouble understanding them as I do. But these look so far from the first 30 seconds or so to be clean. So we'll try this so I can kind of follow along with this. This is, I believe, the Battle of Wizna. At least that's what I'm assuming. I don't know much about the battle other than the really basics that they teach you in World War II history classes. I know it was very, very early in the German invasion of Poland, and it has been compared to the Battle of Thermopylae. In other words, it's a very small number of people defending against an overwhelming force. Here in America, we would think of something like the Alamo, but even the Alamo is often compared to Thermopylae. So it's one of those things that kind of fall into the genre of heroic last stands, or even if in some cases they're not necessarily last stands. But it is an incredible battle. So let's get into this. I'm not going to waste any more time except to say that I will include a link to the original video in the description down below. Please head over to Sabaton, show them a little love and appreciation for the work they put into these videos. As always, they are incredible. So with that said, let's just see what they got for us. All right. All right, looks like I froze up here. Let me see if I can. There we go. Okay, let's go back and take a look at that part. So it's a great introduction. We're talking about, like I said, the early stages of the German invasion of Poland. And in this particular case, what we have is a group that's assigned to defend some very specific strategic ground with some fortified bunkers. And it is, in a lot of ways, it really is comparable to Thermopylae. The idea is to hold them there as long as you can to help the rest of the Polish forces deal with this invasion. I believe this particular battle starts around 7 days after the invasion, specifically starts 6 or 7 days. Let me see here. Right back, yeah. In early September it came, a war unknown to the world. No army may enter that land that is protected by Polish hand. Unless you are 40 to 1, your force will soon be undone. Okay, so the implication there is you need to outnumber it 40 to 1 if you want to have any chance, which is a great warning. Um, it's very effective in the context of the music. It absolutely is. And let's be honest. The Polish did an incredible job fighting against overwhelming odds in general, because they're not fighting off just the Russians or just the Germans, but they've also got to deal with Stalin's forces as well. So, I mean, these guys are incredible. They really are. Um, if I remember right, when we were talking about this in my World War II history class, you often hear 40 to 1, but that's actually on the low side. It may have been much longer odds, 45, 50, 55 to 1, possibly even worse. So any way you look at it, this is a group that is horrendously outnumbered, and yet they stand their ground. They delay this invasion as long as they possibly can, and this is crucial. Yeah. Okay, so that was the chorus. He compares him to Spartan. That's another reference to Thermopylae in particular. The idea that the small force can hold off a much, much larger force. They also say they brought the war march to a halt. That's fair to say in that local region. They definitely did delay the folk that they were up against, but there were forces swarming throughout Poland at this time. They delayed one section of it. They certainly didn't stop the whole thing. In fact, I think around the same time this battle was taking place, there were already German forces in other areas that were pressing close to or even into Warsaw about this time. I could be wrong about that. This is not one of my stronger areas with World War II, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But that doesn't minimize their contribution at all. The fact that they were able to delay so many Germans, even for a little bit, is just absolutely crucial to giving Poland any chance at all. And yeah, just anytime I hear of battles like this where a handful hold off thousands, tens of thousands, it's always just, it boggles my mind how they can do it, but they do it. And I get the whole idea of choke points and, things like bridges, passes, like in Thermopylae, or here where they had some defensive batteries in place to help, channel enemy movements. But still, it's just impressive what these people can pull off.
The 8th of September it starts, the rage of the Reich. A barrage of mortars and guns stand past, the bunkers will hold. The captain has pledged his life, I'll face my fate here. The sound of artillery strike, so fierce the thunder of guns. So come bring on all that you've got, come hell, come high water, never stop. Unless you are 40 to 1, your lives will soon be undone. Baptized in fire, 40 to.
Okay, so in this last passage, we have a couple of references that are kind of important. They mentioned, let's go back. It's easier if I go back and replay it. So yeah, broads of mortars and guns. There absolutely would have been artillery shelling going on at this time to soften the target, so to speak. especially on the behalf of the Germans themselves. Um, keep going.
Mortars and guns stand fast, the bunkers will hold. The captain has
Yes,
pledged
that's
his
where I was
life.
going.
I'll face my fate here.
I don't remember the name of the captain, but I know that he famously said he was not going to abandon these bunkers alive, um, and that, and I could be wrong here. So if I am, please forgive me. But if I remember right, as the battle came to a close, he ordered his men to surrender, and then he killed himself as part of his pledge that he would not leave this battle alive. I could be wrong about that. I might be thinking of a different battle, but I think it was this one, where he made the ultimate sacrifice. He kept his word. I will not leave this alive.
The sound of artillery strike, so fierce the thunder of guns. So come bring on all that you've got. Come hell, come high water, never stop. Unless you are 40 to 1, your lives will soon be undone. Undone. Baptized in fire, 40 to 1. Spirit of Spartans, death and glory. Soldiers of Poland, second to none. Growth of the Wehrmacht brought to our halls. Always remember a fallen soldier. Always remember fathers and sons at war. Always remember a fallen soldier. Always remember you read in history. No army may enter that land that is protected by Polish hands. Unless you are 40 to 1, your force will soon be undone. Undone. Baptized in fire, 40 to 1. Spirit of Spartans, death and glory. Soldiers of Poland, second to none. Wrath of the Wehrmacht brought to our hall. No, no, no.
All right. I really liked that they included that little transition passage where they had the dedication to the fallen. That's one thing that I really respect about Sabaton is that they are very respectful to people who fell in battle, regardless of which side it was, honestly. Um, but in this particular case, I think this is just one of the things I really respect about them is they often pay tribute to people who fell. And that's important, no matter how you feel about the people on the other side or on your side. And I'm as somebody who grew up during the Vietnam War here in the United States. You know, I grew up in a climate where people were just as disgusted with our own side in some cases as they were with the enemy. Um, people who fight in wars typically they're there because they're fighting for their homeland, not always for all the ideologies that their leaders espouse. Sometimes, yes, absolutely. But in many cases, they're just people like you and me who are just trying to defend their home. Or in some cases, just to stay alive, depending on who's cracking the whip behind them, or protect their families. So I think it's important to, show respect to the fallen and recognize that these people deserve to be remembered. They do. Okay, I just took a moment to look up. It was Captain Władysław Raginis, I believe. I don't know how you pronounce it specifically. If I butchered that too badly, I do apologize. He is if the people in this battle are compared to the Spartans at Thermopylae, he is compared to Leonidas. And yeah, he did order his men to surrender at the very end, but refused to surrender himself. And the more common tradition is apparently he threw himself on a grenade at the end. So again, these people do deserve to be remembered. Anyway, another great video. I'm not going to break it down as much as I do some of the others. This one was fairly straightforward. Yeah. It gives you a prime example of the resilience of the human spirit and how a few people can absolutely make a difference, at least in the short term. It doesn't change anything long term, but it does allow for people who might otherwise have been captured or other battles might have gone much worse. So in the short term, it was absolutely critical. It did delay a significant portion of the Wehrmacht. So it can't be underestimated. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the song and the video. I wish I could comment more, but like I said, this is one of those areas I don't know as much about. So I can't add a whole lot more. Sorry about that. But I don't know everything. None of us do. And one of the reasons I do this channel, and I hope is the reason you guys do this channel, is to learn more about things you don't know about. So thank you for joining me, and thank you to the Polish folks out there who have fought time and time again throughout history to protect their homeland. It's been rough going for you guys, I know. So thank you for joining me. See you all later. Bye-bye.